Hello, everybody. Rich Wildman here. Glad you joined us on the show today. Got to make sure all my sliders are down where they're supposed to be. All the buttons are pushed. I think everything's cool at the moment. Glad you're here with us. A great show planned for you today. A couple of things we got to mention, however, very quickly. We're still in the process of moving our website from one server to another. We've got the vast majority of it done. I'm waiting on a few things to happen to get some things changed. Once those are changed, we should all be over on the new server. We'll open up the song submission page once again, and everything will be back as it should be. Second thing I've got to let everybody know about today is that Mr. James Anderson, unfortunately due to technical difficulties, is unable to join us. So we will have a special panelist sitting in for him, and you can imagine how excited we all are at that. No, it's just me, honestly. Yeah, just me. I'm sitting in for him, and that's fine. We're not gonna make a big hubbub about it.
Like I said, Rich, it's the three mosquitoes.
I know it's just like old times here on MSI.
And I see weekly.
Yeah, I almost said that. Anyway, over to London, England right now, where we're going to hook up with our good friend and a new daddy. He's got a new baby he just released, Mr. Ian Husbands. Hey, Ian.
A new baby I've just released. That sounds really wrong.
I know. It's like you're a wildlife curator, and you release your babies into the wild or something.
Sounds like a child kidnapper who's just let one go.
No. You release your babies into the wild once they reach a certain maturity.
No. I have put a video out, if that's what you're talking about.
I am.
And a song. Yeah, we've released Stand Up Funk, and it's a rather cool little collaboration. It's got my wife Tony on the vocals, and we've got Andrea, who sits on the panel for MSI, playing the bass. And we've got Paul Miro, who sits on the panel with MSI, who's done some programming for me and mixed and mastered the track. And we've got a guy called James Calore playing trumpet, and a guy called Rekka, MC Rekka, doing some rapping. And there's lots of people dancing in the video as well, who we've basically hired to dance for us from Fiverr.com.
So it's indeed a worldwide collaboration then. I mean, you went literally around the world to get all of these people to participate with you in the creation of this new piece of music.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I was looking earlier. We went across 3 continents: Sri Lanka, Romania, Cyprus, some distant exotic land called America, and the UK, of course. So, yeah, we sort of went around the world a little bit, which is quite nice. It's always nice when you do collaborations to get input from all over the place.
Very cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I want to say a special hello to Mr. Martin Waterhouse out in the chat room. Hey, Martin, how you doing? Nice to have you joining us today. Our guest panelist is going to join us here in just a second, but go ahead, Ian.
I have to say, Marty Nowhouse was really great to tweet out the video earlier, and I was looking through his YouTube channel, and he's got a song up there about Jeremy Hunt. Got to say this right, Jeremy Hunt, who is one of our culture secretaries over here, and it's very, very funny. And if you understand British politics at all, you need to go and look at the Now Now's YouTube channel and watch the Jeremy Hunt video. It's just Jeremy, brilliant.
I have such a problem with British politics. I can't understand any of it, number one. I know you have a queen that does absolutely nothing. And the royal family just kind of is the Kardashian family of Great Britain as far as I can figure out. Now, as for the politics, you have conservatives and liberals, but they're not like the conservatives and liberals here in the U.S., so I'm just totally confused.
Isn't it reversed on the other side of the road there?
I have no idea, Tommy. I can't figure it out.
The Queen is head of state. So basically,
she's kind of like our Kim Kardashian.
She's like a diplomat.
Yeah, and also tourism. Wonderful for tourism. But you know, you've got the Conservatives who are basically backed by the corporate arm of England, and you've got Labour, who are the working man's party, and you got the Liberals, who are kind of like, meh. Should we? No, maybe, yeah, no, that way. Okay, we could do this. Do you like that? Do you like that? So that's how the Liberals are, and it's all good really. And we've now got obviously UKIP as well, who are a bunch of what's the word I'm looking for? Racists. That's the word. And we've got Jeremy Corbyn, who basically is the new Jesus in England.
He is the new Obama of the UK.
No, he's the new Jesus. He wears the sandals and everything.
And that's what they said about President Obama before he was elected as president, that he was going to cure global warming by lowering the tides and making the sun shine a little less hot and all that cool stuff.
Did he manage any of this?
No, not at all.
No?
No.
Yeah.
It is what it is. All right.
Also rise.
Yeah, exactly. Now, before we get to our guest panelist, I want to ask Ian a very important question from last week's broadcast. We had Duke Michaels, John Sullivan, and Sky Monk on the show. And, of course, Duke Michaels, with his track Good Old Cowboy, was selected as our song of the week. Ian, let me know what the witness statements said about all that.
Well, it was quite simple. Everyone agreed with us with Good Old Cowboy by Duke Michaels, which, was a proper country cowboy song and with a good old cowboy name and a good old cowboy Duke. I mean, you can't get better than that. So it deserved the whole thing.
That's very true. Martin out in the chat room says the Tories are like the Republicans, but with better Latin.
Yep. Dominus Requiem.
I don't know. Anyway, our guest panelist, you know him, you love him. He's a guy who's been with us for years, and we love it when he comes back and joins us, is Mr. Tom Chianti. Tommy, hey, how you doing, buddy?
Hello. Yes, let me do the Queen wave. Hello. 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 Make it to the other side. Hello.
We don't get to see you nearly enough, Tommy. So tell me how have things been going since we last had the opportunity to talk?
Well, it's been an interesting month or so. I had been talking to you guys pre-show. The air conditioner in the studio has been pumping like glory for years, even before we moved in and turned this into a studio. And it decided to blow up.
Oh, no.
When you say blow up, do you mean blow up like the windows blew out of the place, your desk was blown over, or do you mean just kind of gave up the ghost blow up?
It pretty much gave up the ghost, the goat, and just poured tons of hot air in. It was as bad as it could get. I mean, I could have, called this the sauna and charged. My pores were so open. My skin was never better. But, I mean, seriously, and then, I had to take down about 3 or 4 racks of gear on one side of the wall, which wasn't that bad. I mean, the racks are on wheels, okay. But, you got to disconnect everything, and then just to get to a point where I can get the old one out and the new one in. Now, the old air conditioner is the through-the-wall type. Now, I had never seen, I'm basically a Long Island boy, okay? And now I'm in Queens, so I'm a Queens kid. So, through the walls on the island, Long Island, are usually somewhere by the front window, the front door, and they're about shoulder or chest high. Here in Queens, no, they're by a window. I guess unless you're, this is the co-op side of Queens, mass urban living. So this is near the floor under a window. You just turn the vents up.
So, the reason why they do that, I figured this out a long time ago. That's so you can put your kid out on top of it after they've been bad.
Oh, I see. Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
Okay. So, and make the long story short, I got everything out of the way, and this big, wide face of the air conditioner I yanked with all my might. And 6 feet later, because they just kept going, Turns out the air conditioner front is this big. The air conditioner itself is that big. And I expected this 300-pound muscle thing because this thing was blowing out, for years. Very cool. And it was just a smaller thing. Of course, the new one we got now is more power, and it's really nice in here. But it gave me time to look around what other people I know are doing. I've been doing a lot of web surfing. Friend of mine loves to watch, what are they called? Fails?
Fail videos where people, like
videos.
people running into a wall or trying to fall off a bike or whatever, yeah?
Yeah, or skate or do water ski or something. And these things are painful. Painful.
You think those are painful? I've got one for you. Look for the justice served or I can't remember exactly what they're called. Karma videos, instant karma. That's what they're called. Look for those.
Okay.
Those are painful.
But I did get to enjoy a few of our friends. A friend that we have in common from another site had opened a site in beta called Pro Collabs, and you do professional collaborations. And I joined the site, and I couldn't do much because, like I said, it was very humid and hot in here, but it's very professional done. You should check it out. And then another friend that hopefully will make an appearance here is named Brian McTeer. I got to catch up on his videos of Weather Vane Music and Minor Street recordings in Philadelphia. Beautiful studio, well-produced videos, excellently recorded. I keep telling him, now, you guys got to know this. If I've got gear envy, this guy's got gear.
So you just watch his videos when you're jonesing for a fix.
Oh, I'm telling you, he's got some, the big old RCA microphones and some of the really classic commercial studio compressors and stuff. You go in there and you just feel, and it's very creative atmosphere, and it's a beautiful site, weathervane.org, and people should check it out. And it's just they do a full day's recording, they broadcast it, and then they cut it up into little podcasts. And you can mix the multi-tracks when you join, and it's just a beautiful site. And just to watch all these podcasts, it was like watching pop-up videos behind the scenes or something, where you get to see the making of. You hear the song, and then you get to see, how they decide who gets put where. And for people who like to learn about studios and recording, it's a great place to go, and you see how they set up, knock down, and the stuff we do to make people sound good. It's like that video that's all over YouTube and Facebook with a girl singing, and you see the engineer outside.
The guy falls over because he's working so hard. Yeah,
he's all sweating and turning knobs and pushing, and you listen into the booth, and this woman is like squawking or whatever, and you listen on his side, and this beautiful voice. Well, this gives you a sight of what's a little bit more realistic.
By the way, that's how I sound the way I sound. You got a guy on the other side doing all the knobs and stuff, and I sound like Horshack from Welcome Back, Carter.
No.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Normally I would agree with an insult. But,
did you get a chance during your downtime because of your air conditioner? Did you get the opportunity to listen to any new music? Any new music that you found that you kind of got lucky with and liked a lot?
Well, I saw Ian's video, and that stand-up funk was excellent, and all the people on the video were quite handsome, except the guys on the couch. But that I figure in the real release they'll fix that up.
Oh, there you go. Well, there you have it. Ian, he saw your video.
Oh, great. What did you like it, Tom?
I thought it was excellent. I thought the arrangement was great, the production was excellent, but it needed more cowbell.
No, I don't really like cowbells, to be honest.
No, there was no cowbell, but it was great. And as far as new music, yeah, just just going from site to site, and it was nice to have some downtime. A lot of time in this business, you can spend an awful lot of time doing nothing. While you
Well,
wait for work to come in.
I'll tell you what, why don't we gear you up to get back to work by listening to some new music today? Because I think that,
Oh, I didn't. You see, I'm so out of practice, Rich. I didn't catch the tie-in that was.
it's a segue. We call that segue in radio speak.
I'm old. I'm infirm.
It's
Um,
okay. It's okay.
and-
We forgive you.
I just put the diapers on yesterday.
We understand that, you've got dirt younger than you are, so that's fine. It's all good. All right, we do have 3 new songs we want to take a listen to on today's show. We're going to start out right now with track number 1. So here it is, everybody. This is track number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Certainly hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back and give you our thoughts on it in just a moment. Track number 1 on today's MSI. All right, well, there you have track number one as we hear it on today's show. Let's go back to the guys and find out what they think about that track. All right, let's start out with Ian and get his thoughts on it first. Ian, what do you think about track number one?
Yeah, nice start. Like the sounds that are being used, the sonic sort of landscape that they built. Really nice tones, really nice sounds. Everything's sort of sitting together nicely, mix wise. That bass has got a really nice sort of sub coming through on it. It's got a really nice, it's really good groove. From a production point of view and a mix point of view, everything's sort of there, from my opinion. But it does get a little repetitive. It does sort of just sit on one level. It's not really that dynamic. We were talking in the chat room there, people sort of saying it's a 4 a.m. club tune. It's definitely a sort of chill out tune for after a night of dancing or doing loads of intoxicants or something like that. And, you know, it could be a movie soundtrack. I was saying in the chat room, you know, you can see the sort of stakeout where the cops are sat in the car with this plane underneath and they get out and they go and stake out the house and things like that. So, yeah, I think it's got movie soundtrack qualities for certain. Just need to sort of, it's missing a melody for my liking. You know, just something I can grab onto. Oh, Rich, can you not hear me at all then, Rich?
No, I can hear you just fine. It's just when you start it up. That's why I typed it in the chat room.
Okay.
Sending secret love messages.
No, just go ahead, finish up your review. You can check it while Tom is giving his because it doesn't affect your voice only when you first come in after I had you muted.
Okay, just try to apologise. So, yeah, I mean, good for a movie soundtrack. Nice mix, nice production. Is lacking a melody of something for my mind to latch onto. And it does get a little repetitive for my liking. But if it's background music, that's not going to be a problem.
All right, well, that makes sense. I appreciate it, Ian. Thank you very much. Now we'll go to me, I guess, next. And I'll tell you what I thought about it. I had a couple of notes I wrote down about it. Make sure I got them turned right side up because I can't read upside down. Anyway, my thoughts on this is they pretty much agree with Ian's. This thing starts very slow and takes a while to build. I mean, it sounds fine. I don't have a problem with what it's actually coming across with. It just takes forever for this to build and go anywhere. Once it does, it's fine too. I don't have a problem with that. The chat room, I agree with them, just like Ian did. This sounds like something you would see in a movie. You know, during this long expose scene where you have the main character either seeing things from his past, learning things about his future, getting ready to go into battle. I don't know. It would be fine and great for a movie, and I think that's exactly what it was built for. I can't see it being used for anything else in my mind. And that's my thoughts on it entirely. And over to Tommy right now, Mr. Tom Chianti. Tommy, what do you think about track number one?
Well, obviously we all heard the same song, and I agree with Ian, and which I hate to do. The mix was very, very nice. There's always a lot of panning going on, and everything was balanced. But I also agree with Richie. It did take a while to transverse its merry path. It's very ambient, very chill, and definitely it would do for, you know, something has to be happening, and it's not happening in the track fast enough to maintain or changing enough to maintain attention. So this obviously is background music for something else happening visually, or like, you know, a movie soundtrack or whatever. Now, you know, some of these new car commercials where you see the cars driving around at night, they do some chill music type of things with a known star or an unknown actor, actress. Yeah, this would be good for that, but it could be good as an ambient track on its own if it built a little faster and had a little bit more production going into it. It's got the basics for a very good ambient track, you know, and someone could put a melody to it, and satisfy Ian, and make the changes quicker and satisfy Richie, and hype it up and down, and give it dynamics, it's mixed well enough where if it was all done like that with more production, it could make a club track that would be played live in a club.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Tommy. Ian, thank you, guys. The name of track number 1 for everybody's information, it is called Fairweather Friend, and it is from a group called I Am on the Fence. I Am on the Fence and Fairweather Friend. All right, that was track number 1. We have 2 more tracks to take a listen to on the broadcast today, so let's do that right now with track number 2 on the show today. Here it is, everybody. This is track number 2 on today's MSI. Enjoy.
You're the apple of my eye, you're the sunshine in my sky, you're the cherry to my pie, you're the high to my five, you're the candle on my cake, you're the leaf to my rake, you're the wine to my dime, you're the 8 to my 9, and I love you. Yes, I love you. You're the sugar in my tea, you're the bumble to my bee, you're the butter in my grits, you're the kibble to my bits, you're the milk to my shake, the A1 to my T-bone steak, you're the book to my nook, you're the worm on my hook, and I love you. Yes, I love you. You and only you can make me feel the way you do. You put a smile on my face and pick me up when I'm blue. You see, I've never had a woman make me feel this way before. You're the sum of all my fantasies, and then you're so much more. My favorite thing to do is lie in bed with you and spoon. I love the way your smile can brighten up a room. I may not have riches or lots of shiny gold, but I want you by my side when I'm really, really old. Like gravy to a biscuit, I'm complete when I'm with you. The best day of my life was the day you said I do. And I love you. Yes, I love you. You're the rock to my roll, you're the feel good to my soul, you're the tick to my top, the snap crackle to my pop, you're the grease to my wheel, the banana to my peel, you're the tootsie to my roll, you're the cream in my cup of joe, and I love you. Yes, I love you. No one ever thought that I would settle down, but I was just waiting for you to come around. We've had our ups and downs like everybody does. Being by your side gives me a happy buzz. I see your pretty face and think, damn, what a sight. I wanna make you happy, morning, noon, and night. You're my sweet southern belle, and this song is just for you. How I got so lucky, I just don't have a clue. I'm thankful for your love, you mean everything to me. I'm gonna put you on a pedestal, I want the world to see. I love you. Yes, I love you. Yes, Yes, I love you. Yes, I love you.
All right, there you have it. That is track number 2 on the broadcast today. I guess I'll start this out because, it's kind of the way we do it. We let our guest go last in the first round, second in the second round, and first in the third round.
You're getting me confused.
I know. It's the way it is. It is what it is. All right, my thoughts on this track, very simple. It's a cute song. It really is. The vocal needs to be recorded on a different microphone altogether. The vocal is very muddled and cloudy. It'd be nice if there were bass and percussion that jumped in this at some point. I mean, the mandolin and the guitar are fine, but a little bit more to fill it out would be very nice. Very interesting how he incorporated the rapping in. I'm not sure what you call the genre when you incorporate rapping into it, but it's kind of interesting. It makes you sit up and take a listen to it, which I thought was good.
No, they're calling it bluegrass rapping in the chat.
All right, well, bluegrass rapping works for me, but I really got to tell you, he's got to clean that microphone up. That was the worst part of the whole thing, is how muddled it actually sounded. And those are my thoughts on it. Tommy, what do you think about track number 2?
Well, this was obviously a pre-recorded track,
Yeah,
a stereo track, and he just hit record on an overdub type of machine, and yeah, that's why it comes in sounding like that. It's two disparate things happening at the same time. So, but as to the songwriting, when he goes into the hook, the I love you, I like that. I like the hook. But the comparison part in the verses was a little bit too much and a little too redundant. And obviously, this is a demo quality. You give us an idea across. The hook itself might be good enough to get someone's interest into putting more or better production. The gentleman's voice is, if recorded properly and put better into the track, might sound much better with the rough edges taken off and whatever done to sweeten it up. But the rapping, I don't know. I'm hemming and hawing. It was too similar to the sung lyrical parts in the first in the first half when he rapped, and so it didn't seem like it was needed there. I don't know if it was just put in just to be there, or just because he was copying a type of song he had heard. But, part of the rap would definitely work, but I think it was overdone, and it was a little too similar to the sung verse to designate it as a separate part or as necessary. But, like I said, I like the hook. If given to a proper producer, done properly, be a nice, unique type of song.
All right, Tommy, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Over to Ian. Ian, track number 2, buddy.
Let's not get too into the quality of this track. It is what it is, and it is this guy who's sat down and he's obviously got a young lady he feels very, very strongly about. And I hope he got his girl. It sounds like he did, because he obviously asked her to marry him in the story, and she's his Southern Belle. So I hope this put a smile on her face as much as it did his when he was recording it. There are issues. His acoustic guitar is slightly out of tune. It's not recorded brilliantly. Everything's sort of in the middle and top of each other. The vocals don't stand out well enough. But this isn't meant to be a professional piece. This is a present, a gift to his loved one. And, I really do hope he achieved what he was setting out to do in writing this. There is a good song here. It's a little cliche. The rapping is, it's not the best, but it's him. And, I think he... Guys are saying it could be a doggy singing this too. I don't think we should go there. This is a family show. You know, I've tried necrophilia, I've tried bestiality,
Necrophilia.
and I've tried bondage, and I realised I was just beating the dead horse.
Was it game bondage?
But you know, it is what it is, and it's a fun track that he's written, obviously, for this woman he loves, and I think he's done a bloody good job of it, and I hope it put a smile on her face.
Well, that's a great scenario, and I hope you're right, Ian, because that makes it much better than submitting it as an idea for a song.
You know, you could go into this. You could go, okay, I was hearing cellos and a violin, a fiddle, you know, some sort of hand percussion, you know, maybe a cajon or just a very simple guitar sort of kick and snare sort of setup. Nothing complicated. You know, you could go into this, you could put bass on it, you could do. But, you know, what is the guy setting out to do? And in my opinion, it sounds like he's setting out to write this song for his loved one. And I think he's achieved what he was trying to do.
All right, well, that makes sense. I appreciate it. Song number 2, everyone, is called Apple of My Eye, and it's from Joey Cochran. We appreciate Joey sending that track into Music Scene Investigation as well. All right, we have one more track to take a listen to, and I'll remind everybody, because we should have everything open back up on the website by the next weekend. If you want to submit music to Music Scene Investigation, do just that by going to musicsceneinvestigation.com and click on Submit a Song at the top of the page. Once we get the site open back up, we will enable that functionality again. All right, this is track number 3 for everybody's information as we take a listen to it right now. We'll be right back with the reviews on track number 3 on today's MSI. There you have track number 3. Let's bring everybody back in. We'll start this round out with Mr. Tom Chianti. Hey, Tommy, Track number
Hello.
3, over to you. What do you think of it?
Well, as I said, the crowd in the chat, has gone wild, and now for something completely different. Yes, it was. It's very experimental. And Pinky said gothic dubstep. It's a mashup of different things, but in this type, when you go into experimental like this, it's an interesting concept. I like it, but it's too disjointed. And something like this, where you've got very different sounds coming in, harsh percussion, laughing vocals, and it's got to be put together like a scene from a movie. When you mix it, everything has to be in place. Everything has to come across with a physical impression of doing something or making the audience feel something. And that's the most important part of mixing, is you've got to make the message of what it is you're doing come across, whether it's the vocal of a beautiful melody or the impact and jarringness of an experimental song with some melodic overtones. They were not in the right spaces. So basically, the overall feeling I got was, an entire orchestra with the chorus falling down a flight of stairs, where even that could be made to sound good if it balanced it right. I'm just saying that this is very interesting from how the parts are sewn together, but the reverb is wrong. And of course, you're in experimental music, so what the hell? Who the hey am I to say that this experiment is a failure? Because it is an experimental song. But I think with less reverb, better balancing, it would have a more tonal credence and a better understood effect coming across a feeling and emotion at a time instead of everything jumbled together at once.
All right. I thank you, Tommy. I appreciate that. Over to Ian and his thoughts. Ian, track number 3.
This sounds to me like Skrillex and the Sisters of Mercy have got together, done a ton of cocaine, several bottles of Jack Daniels, and gone, let's lay something down in the studio, man. And they have. And this is kind of the result. And, yes, it's experimental, and I don't want to take away from the creativity of this track. Let's throw the rules of arrangement out, and let's throw the sort of a few other rules of music out, and just get rid of them. Let you have that space to create in. But music is still music, and it still needs to conform to some sort of solid rhythm, and it still needs to be mixed and produced in a way that gets what you're trying to say across. And I think, sadly, that's where this was lacking. The timing was all over the place. I appreciate some of the dubstep stuff, but even that was a bit jerky and a bit uneasy. I still want some sort of beat running through this that I can hook onto and can keep my interest and keep the groove going. And this faltered in places for me. And mix-wise, as Tom said, lots of reverbs and bits and pieces. The vocals were set back in places. The guitars were sort of weak and brittle, but there. It was just, the mix was not solid at all and needs a lot of attention. Keep down this fruit. I don't want to discourage the creativity of this. You've got a lot of ideas going on here, and that's a good thing. This gothic dubstep, as we're calling it here. There's an idea here, I think. Again, listen to bands like The Cure and Sisters of Mercy and stuff like that, and see what they've done with sort of the EDM production on some of their stuff. And I think try and work within a few more boundaries. Try and restrict yourself to maybe put a bit more of an arrangement to the track, and consider your parts a little bit better, and you might be onto something.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Ian. My thoughts on this, when it first started, I was very excited. Then the vocals came in. They were buried. I think they could have fixed those. I agree with both of you guys. A lot of reverb on this that didn't need to be there. It just killed it, in my opinion. This is, as they say, one hot mess. It brought my hopes up and then dashed them against the rocks. It really did. It was really sad to see them dashed like that. I loved it up through the first part of dubstep, aside from the vocals. And then after that, the timing kind of fell apart and everything was just kind of jumbled up in a big mess of playing against each other. I didn't see any timing after that. It really hurt to be perfectly honest, and I got to be honest about this. I was hoping this track would pull itself together, but after that first break where the dubstep came in, once it finished that nice bit in there and then brought everything else back in, it just fell apart, and it was sad to see. If you could cut the song in half, you might have something. Just throw away the last half and do the rest of it over. That's my opinion of it. So, all right.
Well, tell us what you really think.
I just did. All right. Let's see. Track number 3 is by Paradigm Lost, and it is called One Toe. And we appreciate their sending that track in. Regardless of whether we like it, love it, or hate it, we always appreciate you sending the track in to Music Scene Investigation. All right.
That one toe clapping?
I don't know. I really don't. All right. Now is the time, of course, where we decide on a song of the week based on what we just heard, gentlemen. What do you think? I want to invite everybody, while we're talking about this, to go over and put your witness statements in as well. msi.icweekly.net/witness or musicsceneinvestigation.com/witness will get you there. Ian, Tommy, what do you think, guys? I've got my mind made up already.
I've got my mind made up, and I wish James was here.
You know, I'm in two minds, right? We've got track number 1, which is really slickly produced and mixed, but it's kind of background music to me. And as much as there is a market for that, you know, to me, it's just background music, and it needs a melody and it needs something else going on to sort of hook me in a little bit more. And then you've got this kind of like really roughly produced, but so honest, or a song, you know, sitting there as well, which, all right, guitar's not the world best recorded and best tuned, the vocals aren't brilliantly placed, but you can hear everything that's going on well enough, the lyrics are good, the story's there, and you can kind of feel that this guy is doing this so honestly, which comes across, you know, bluegrass rapping or not.
And your choice, your decision, what do you think on that? Are you gonna
stay at 2 minds?
I mean, I can tell you my thoughts on this whole thing. I thought number 2 needed to be produced better. I mean, if you're gonna write this for your loved one, keep it between you and her. If you want to send it in and get it reviewed, it should be treated like every other song that comes in and get reviewed. And it should be treated on those same levels. We shouldn't take it at a different level because of the content of the song. Number 3, like I said, was one hot mess.
Hang about.
Uh-oh. Fist fight, cat fight, lady fight.
Don't think that's a very fair statement. We don't have a criteria on this show.
We treat every song the same when it's submitted. I don't take the content of it and say, oh, isn't that sweet? I'm going to treat it differently than I do everything else.
But when
that's
we listen,
not what he's saying.
No, but when we listen to these tracks, you know, they've all got merits in different places. And just because we've got a well-produced track doesn't mean it's a good song.
I didn't say that either.
A badly produced track doesn't mean we haven't got a good song.
I didn't say that either. I'm saying we treat them all the same. My vote goes to track number 1.
I can understand what he's saying. Yeah. Rich, on the one hand, is saying we've got, you know, this is this type of show and everything's taken at a professional level. Ian and I are of the mind we're okay with something honest, taken at a professional point. And as you said, Ian, you could hear all the parts, even if they were out of tune, and the rap was the rap, but it was honest, and that's what you want in recordings, and that's what you want to get across.
Mm.
And number 3, I really like the whole concept of that incongruous, if the word is correct, type of action happening all over the place. It's amazing to mix when you get something like that. It's what they do when when you mix your film, and I've done very, very, very little of that for an independent animated feature, and that's fun when you take these incongruent, disparate, mix mash together, and you make it a piece where something happens understandably. And when I look at all of them on those levels, number 3 needs more work and a full idea fleshed out and better mixed. Number 2, as honest as the recording and the vocals are, is redundant. You're my dill to my pickle, my this to my that to my that. And then the rap comes in and says, you're my dimma damma da, baba dimma damma. And it says basically the same thing. Honest, heartfelt, but redundant. Number 1, long-winded. It's sort of like a presidential speech that you have to attend. The sound is... and everybody is trying not to fall asleep. But honestly, it's mixed well, and it has the best presentation. So I have to agree with her.
Ian?
So you're going with number 1, Tom?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with number 2. We're voting on Song of the Week, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I don't feel that number 1 was a complete song. It was a piece of music, but I don't feel it was a song. It was lacking a melody. It was lacking certain parts for me to make it a song. Number 2, yeah, it's roughly produced. It's roughly mixed. But there is a song. It's got a hook. It's got lyrics. It's got a meaning. It's got intention. And you come away with it. I mean, I was smiling all the way through that track, as badly mixed and produced as it was. And I think that's a good thing. So I'm going to go with the Song of the Week and select number 2.
All right. Well,
technical, are we?
Well, we have a split decision here, and it looks like a split decision going on out in the chat room as well. However, I'm on the fence, and Fairweather Friend is going to be that Song of the Week for this time around on Music Scene Investigation. Tommy, I want to thank you for being with us. A breath of fresh air. A pleasure to have you back on with us.
I'm a fresh breath air.
Yeah, exactly what I meant. Always good to see you. Everybody can get in touch with you at Alanatomic on Twitter. And what's the web address everybody can go to check you out?
You can get me at alanatomic2@me.com.
All right, that sounds very cool. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ian, as always. Always great to have you. Hopefully, we'll have Andrea on next week. Make sure you tune in on Wednesday this week. We've got our hit list. We're bringing back all the songs of the week from September, and we'll figure out who wins that hit list designation. For now, however, we're going to play out with I'm on a Fence's Fairweather Friend as we move in to next week's MSI when, guess who'll be here? 213 Panelist of the Year, Susie Chase.
Susie.
Yeah, Susie Chase.
Sure, you wouldn't have me on with the 2 women. Thank you.
The week after that, Deborah Russell will be here, so that'll be very cool as well. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. We'll talk to you next time on Music Scene Investigation. Here is our Song of the Week.
I'm on the fence about this decision, to be honest.
I knew you would be.